Okay, welcome to the introduction lesson to SketchUp on how to get started and how to do some of the basics so you can help you draw your designs. So when you first open up SketchUp, you'll have this window here. We're using SketchUp 2017. You can download it from the link that I shared in Teams. I'll also put the link on the video as well in the descriptions. So when you open it up, you'll have to go to template, and you get lots of templates, and what we are interested in is the one towards the bottom here. That is this one here, which is woodworking in millimeters, just because it's in millimeters, and that's the common format we use for design technology. So just click that and then start using SketchUp. That will then open up the SketchUp window, and you can see it opens up like this. And when it's the default, you just get these tools here. Now, to make things a little bit easier, we'll change some of the tools or add some tools as well. So if you go into View here and click Toolbars, and you need to make sure you have the following ones turned on. So if you turn on the large tool set, that brings the tools down the left-hand side. And also what I find very useful also is the views one as well, which then gives you this kind of like house thing here. And that's a quick way to look at different views. And that's it actually, to be honest with you, for what we'll need, because everything else comes in here. So also, if you go to options, you can turn off the tips that appears on the left-hand side here as well, which does get a little bit annoying sometimes. So when we start to design, SketchUp is very different to Onshape. It is very intuitive, and we just use the idea of shapes and the push-pull tool to create form. So start off with, if we click the rectangle tool, what we can do is if we just simply start here at the origin and we click and we drag, it allows us to draw a rectangle, and we just click again to lock it in place. Once it's locked in place, we can't adjust that. So we can see that we've drawn a rectangle this size here and here. If we wanted to draw a rectangle to a specific size, what we do is we just click once, and then we move. Okay, and whilst we're moving, we don't click a second time. We can just then type in the numbers. So if I want a rectangle 500 by 500, so I type in 500, and if you look in the bottom right hand corner, you can see a dimension changing, comma, 500. Okay, and then that gives me a rectangle drawn at 500 by 500 in that set dimension. Same applies for moving things up. So if I want to push this up, I can do that, and if I type in a number before I click again, remember clicking locks it in place. So type it up, and if I type in there 500, okay, I can then do the same. So that's 500 by 500 by 500. SketchUp works on the basis of faces. So what we can do to demonstrate that is we can subdivide the faces using the pencil tool. Pencil tool just draws straight lines. So from point to point, undo that. Okay, like that, and same the other way. And what that gives us then is that it gives us different faces which we can then push and pull to create different effects. Okay, so to look around the design, you need to use the orbit tool. So click this one, and you click your mouse and just spin around. So that orbits it around, allows us to see in different views. So what happens then is we need to look at some other tools. So let's just clear this. So to clear everything, we just highlight it all and then press delete. So again, I'm just going to draw a rectangle again. Click, and then I'm going to do it 500 by 500. And this time I'm just going to move it up a little bit. Push-pull tool, bring it up. So some useful tools, what are really useful is the tape measure tool. And this tape measure tool can be it's similar to the construction line tool in Onshape. So you can basically click it, And if you click a line here, you can click once and then drag it out. Okay. And while you're dragging that out, if you type a number, let's say I want that to be 200 away from the edge, I just type in 200. Okay. And I can do the same on this side. 200. And I know that I've got a distance from here to here, 200. And if I want to do it this way as well, I click that edge, pull it out and type 200 and then 200. So I know this is an area that's been marked out. Why is it useful? Well, what I can do then is if I wanted to draw a feature like a hole, I could put a little hole here. Let's make that 30. And I can do the same thing here. Okay. And what it does, if you've drawn 30 before, if you click once and slowly move it, it locks into 30. So it's a very quick way to get things in the right place. What I can then do is I can either use this to go below, so I can click and push down. So let's go down by 20. And another little trick which you can do is if you want to push this down by the same distance, you click it and then you can just touch that face. Same again, click it and just touch that face there, and then click it and then just touch that face there, like that. Okay, so use the construction lines to help you mark out so things are equal and things look like they've been planned. That's a good little tip. So there we go. Now, if I wanted to create another part, so what we have to do is with SketchUp, these are all separate faces. And if I try to move it, what happens is, if I, for example, if I get the move tool, I try and move it, it all moves, okay, which we don't really want to do. So we need to make sure it's fixed. So to do that, if I click 3 times, 1, 2, 3, it selects the whole object. If I right click and then go make component, and I just click, you can name it, but I just click create. What happens then is this now is treated as one object. All the faces have been combined, so the computer sees it as one object. And what that allows me to do is that allows me then to probably use this as a reference point to then design like I would, like another part that would go on top of it. So if I want to draw a lid that goes on top of this object, I can do that. I can then move that up. Okay, and because this is a separate component, if I right click and go hide, I can hide that and then I can continue to work on this as a separate feature. So let's just say I want to go on the underside of here and make it a little bit hollow. So I can tilt it under like this. Another good little tool is this one, Offset. Offset is really useful because you can click it and you can click, and what it does is it draws a line inside or outside of the shape. So it's quicker than drawing a square, and if you type in a number, it sets the thickness of the wall. So if I typed in 45, what it would do is it would give me a distance between here and here of 45. And then what I can do is I can use the push-pull tool to basically push that in to give me like a little feature there. So you can see now I've created like almost like a lid. What I can also do as well with this is I can click on here, and I believe, escape that, not that one. This one default. I just undo that. Let's try all of it. Okay. So just, oops, ignore that for a second. So what we can do now is we can make this a solid. So 3 clicks, 1, 2, 3. And what I can do is right click, make component. So create, like that. So if I go to edit, unhide all, I now have 2 components, one below, one above. So what I could do with that is I could move this lid off, so like lift it up. So to do that, you click the move tool and you click on top. And if you just very slowly move it up. Now it's quite tricky, but what you're looking for is where it says on blue axes. As soon as that appears, if you hold down the shift key, it means that it's going to lift it directly above. If you go over here, it's not directly above, but if we do that, it is directly above. And just shift keeps that locked in while you're moving. So I can make it look like that the lid is lifted from my design, like that. If I wanted to create more than one lid, what I could do, rather than drawing it again, I can click that. I can press Control C. And what we'll do is, okay, it hasn't appeared to have copied that. Let's just escape that and try again. And okay, there we go. And it's then it'll give me a second lid that I can then hold to make sure it's in the blue axes. Hold down Shift, and I can raise it above. So I have two lids that have been copied, and they're directly above. So you can mirror parts just by copying and pasting them as you wish. And then if at any point you wanted to go in and edit this, because it's a component, you can right click and then click Explode. And what that does is that then brings it back to its original state. And then what you could do is you can add on further features to this design. So if I wanted to put some details on top, okay, I could just get a line, draw it here, create another face, and I could probably do the same like here. Again, what I'll do is I'll probably work a bit more accurately if I was doing it properly, and I can then grab that and lift that up, and I could probably grab that and lift it up as well. If one of them the same height, I can just touch that to there, and then I've drawn a sort of a feature that's been developed from that. So you can see that what happens is you can very, very quickly create design sketches by using SketchUp for the different features. Now, the idea of this is just basically just to sketch, to 3D sketch. That's what we're aiming at. We need some accuracy, but you know, it's not essential to be super accurate. At this stage, we're just trying to get our ideas into 3D and visualize those.